Hey friends, thank you for joining me. Hey Ashley, hey Angela. Nice to see you, friends. Hope you had a fantastic long weekend. So glad that you joined me for Psychic 101 live. Hey Eddie. Awesome. So a little bit different than what I normally do. Not necessarily going to do readings, unfortunately. Hey Diana. Hey Jacqueline. So tonight is, of course, all about you, as it usually is whenever I'm coming on live, right? But everyone usually has some sort of questions, right? Ooh, thank you. Everyone has questions, right, about their psychic stuff, whether it's about your psychic stuff, your messages, or whether it's about this kind of stuff in general, right? Hey, I love dance. Hey, Lady B. Hey, Holistic Health Avatar. So, friends, if you have a question box down below, okay? Happy to look at your comments, but if you do have a specific question, what it is that you want to know, and I do have some questions already, but like I said, of course, what you want to know. Okay. Xphilia, Tanya, have I ever had a break from my gifts for any period of time? Not by my own choice. Not by my own choice. I've definitely taken breaks, and I think anybody who has ever had any sort of, spirituality chapter in their life, right? No matter how long that chapter is. I think all of us have had times where we put it down and picked it up and put it down and picked it up. I don't know if there's a time that by not by my personal choice that I put it down. There has been times, because when I was doing this since I was little, right? Hey Steph, thanks for coming in. Hey Anella, thanks for coming. Hey Vincy. I remember seeing spirit when I was a child, right? When I was little. So I don't think that there's been a time that I've had a break. I know that there's been periods of time when I didn't feel supported. And as a result, I did not own my power, and I didn't come out really saying all of those things, right? Of, oh, I see this and I hear this and all that. Hey, Sarah. Oh, where spirit has stopped sending me messages. You know what? It's almost like the same thing. It's almost like the exact same question, if I'm telling you the truth, Tanya. Because, whether spirit is, sometimes when spirit stops sending messages, it's not that they're not sending messages. It's that you're not in a position of allowance or to receive them. Because we are a part of this universe, right? We are one. So it really isn't a case where spirit is not sending us messages at all. It's just, where are we within the frequency to receive? Are we even interested, right? And that's where a lot of this Psychic 101 kind of stuff comes from, because you can be sitting in a place of, okay, well, I don't understand this, I don't understand that, and I'm just going to turn it all off, right? We can also be in places in our ego or in our life situations that are like hard times and stuff like that, and we choose not to look at the information, right? And I know that as many people are listening to this, it's kind of like, okay, well, we've all been through those hard times, right? Whatever it is, whatever it's a work situation that you hang on to, whether it's a relationship issue that you hang on to for too long, you usually know if something is right for you or not. You're just not acting on the messages. A lot of times we're like this and this, right? So I hope that answers your question. There's definitely been times in terms of phases, like I was saying, in my life, that all of us have kind of been like, okay, we take it down. We don't, I'm not going to meditate now. I don't need this, all that kind of stuff, right? So hope that made sense. Hope that answers your question. Thank you, everyone who's joined me. And Lainey B, that trust in your gut, that's right. That's right. It's that gut instinct, right? That makes you go, ooh, oh yeah, this is right. Okay? Is it something like that that's instinct more than psychic? Well, that's kind of going interchangeable, right? It's kind of the same thing. And you're right, Lainey. It is one of these things where it's your gut instinct, right? But your gut instinct, you can talk about psychic covering a whole bunch of things. I mean, does psychic just mean tarot cards? No. Does that mean just premonitions? No. Does that mean just communicating with loved ones, like deceased loved ones? No. That means a whole bunch of things. Depends on the skill set, right? Hey, Sasha. Hey, Daniela, thanks for coming in. Okay, let me check out some of your questions. All right, friends, let's see. So I'm gonna, thank you so much, Tanya, for that question. Okay. Okay, I got 5 on it, tarot. Do you have a specific crystal that I can recommend to help you with grounding? Oh man. Okay. You know, there's a lot, but you know, I have to say that my go-to for this is almost always hematite. Almost always, you know, and I've been a hematite girl for a long time. Okay, now do I have hematite here? Of course I have hematite here. Check this out. Check out this beautiful necklace, right? Of course I have hematite. Of course I do, right? And this is my grandmother's necklace too that I end up getting when she passed, which is lovely. But yeah, hematite is actually really fantastic because it's a black stone, which means it's really kind of like an introspective, it's not an introspective stone, it's more of a protection and a grounding stone, right? As opposed to like something that you can see into in a certain degree. But this is gonna be wonderful for removing negative energy and helping to kind of lead some space to create more positive, right? Because when you remove stuff, then you have room for other things to come in. I really feel that hematite is a really, really strong stone. It really covers all sorts of bases in terms of grounding, okay? And I really love the magnetic kind of piece with that as well. Another alternative I really like is red jasper because it is a really nice grounding stone in terms of your connection to your root chakra, which of course is our grounding center in our energy bodies and our chakra system, right? So if you're looking for something that is more maybe not as focused on the protection side, but more on just grounding, then that might also be a really good one for you to go to. Hope that makes sense. Thanks everyone who's joined. Yeah, you have a hematite ring? Perfect. Okay, let me see what other questions you have. Yeah, you should buy some pieces. And you know what? Here's the thing about hematite as well. Because a lot of people have a hematite ring, like you're talking about, right? So, friends, if you have a hematite ring, because it's a really popular way to wear hematite, please know and understand that after a certain amount of time, your hematite ring is going to break. Okay, it's going to. And whether or not you just happen to hit it on the side of something and it smashes or whatever the case is, it's going to break. And here's why. Hematite is absorbing negative energy, okay, because it's pulling it away from your system. So there's only so much that this rock can hold before it's like, kink, right? Too much, all right? So what happens when your hematite ring breaks, all right? No matter where you're at, if you're not able to pick up all the pieces or find all the pieces, well, it is what it is. But if you can, pick up all the pieces, find all the pieces, and take them. And what you really want to do is bury this in the ground, okay? And I know that sounds kind of strange, but the reason why you're doing this is you are regrounding those energies. These are energies that were either with you or connected to you or whatever that looks like, okay? So if this is breaking off, it's saying that this is no longer to be used, it is full, and it needs to be returned back to the creator, back to Mother Earth, okay? So take these fragmented pieces, put them back into the earth, and that way you are returning and rejuvenating that energy back, right? Give it to Mother Earth. She knows what to do with it to make it beautiful again. It's not your job, but don't hold on to it, and you also don't want other people picking up those stones because then they are connecting themselves to that energy by holding it, right? So it's part of like the housekeeping of stones. And if it's a stone that doesn't break, you know, if you want to hold on to a hematite necklace or if you're using red jasper, whatever it is, on a regular basis, cleanse the stones, okay? And if you haven't looked at any of my videos, you know, the Crystal for Beginners 101, 102, all of that, there's a really great video on YouTube that I've put up there about how to actually cleanse them, how to program them, all that. If you want to know more, I can talk about more about that as well. Thanks for everybody for joining. Hey, Melinda. Hey, Cole Summer. Hey, Miss Amber Lee. Okay, cool. Hey, Manpreet. Okay, let me check out some of your other questions here. Okay. So, Giselle, how can you tell the difference between spirit and your imagination? Girl, that is a fantastic question. You know, so let me just say right off the bat, you can't always tell. Not right away. And part of that has to do with our discernment, with our senses, with our own personal psychic abilities, and how that information comes through to us, okay? So first of all, especially when you're in the beginning stages of discovering your psychic abilities and starting to receive messages and stuff like that, it's going to be confusing at first, because if you don't know what to expect, then you don't know what to compare it to, right? So first of all, what I would say is don't have huge expectations that spiritual stuff that comes through is going to look like this or feel like this or only be like this. Because what I've learned for sure through my years of teaching is that everybody's psychic dictionary is different. What someone sees, someone else will feel, someone else will hear. So it's very, very difficult to just blindly say you'll see it like this, it'll look like this, and if it doesn't have this signature, it's not spirit, it's your imagination, okay? And if we think about it in terms of communication with spirit and with other dimensions, we are using our imagination, right? We absolutely are. Because when I'm communicating even with deceased loved ones, for example, if someone's coming down in front of me, it's not like they're coming down and shaking my hand and we're sitting here having a word-for-word conversation. They're communicating to me through my senses. They're communicating through the visuals in my head, through the emotions I feel in my body, okay? That information comes through in energetic imaginative transfer. It's a transfer of energy and information that gets filtrated through a different way to make me feel a certain way. All right, so let's just understand first and foremost, there's a learning curve to this. And even though I've been doing this since, oh gosh, I remember seeing spirit like in front of me for the first time when I was probably like 11, okay? First and foremost, don't expect it to look like a certain way. The second thing is usually your gut instinct is what's right for you. It's the senses that come with you, that's innate to you, that you're born with, right? Just how a duck just instinctively knows how to go like this when they plop into the water for the first time and off they go, right? It's the same sort of thing. You kind of have to go in and feel it, but you have to feel with your imagination. And you know very well, just as much as, you meet somebody or you see someone on the street or whatever for the first time, often, even though someone's nice to you, you just get this feeling like, okay, there's something that's not right here, or even if it's not feeling bad or dangerous, you're like, something's off and this person isn't for me, for whatever reason. You don't need the proof, right? It's how you feel. So pay attention to mostly how you feel rather than where are my thought processes taking me? Because it's really easy to think of one thought that leads to another thought that leads to another thought. So I don't know, let me think of an example. I don't know. Maybe because I'm a mom, but I think about, okay, well, I haven't done the dishes in my sink, and then that leads me to think I haven't taken care of this, and then this leads me to think that, I'm not a good mom, or whatever that kind of stuff is, all right? It's very easy for your brain to take something and translate it quickly into something else. And your ego is the best at that, because the ego is going to tell you, oh, here's what makes sense, or possibly, what you're afraid of, the negative things, and it kind of snowballs in itself. So be careful about your ideas snowballing and taking you somewhere as opposed to you feeling something out, okay? Really, really important. And, with psychic work, you will never, ever have proof, okay? So when I'm talking to someone or when I'm getting some sort of information, when I understand it correctly, it's not like some lightning bolt goes off behind me or like, right? It doesn't happen. There's no physical validation that we see. The validation is what we feel. Sometimes we get lucky, right? Sometimes someone after the fact will tell me, wow, that reading was amazing and that was right and that was right and that was right because of this. But mostly we're working blind. So if you're working blind, you must use your senses and you have to be able to connect and feel what's right for you. And when you keep trying and when you keep asking, then you receive more information. Don't forget to ask questions of spirit, right? It's not about you just waiting to be here to be struck by lightning with a message from spirit. Ask them a question and then wait for the answer, right? Ask, expect, receive, but you gotta believe, okay? Hope that makes sense, Giselle. Hey, Peter, thanks for joining. Okay. Cord cutting. Okay, cool. Let me just check the questions here, guys. Okay. Okay. Sarah Moniz, hey my love, how can you remove all the negative energy in your space? Lots of ways, girl. Lots of ways. Lots of ways. You're so welcome, Peter. Thank you for coming. Okay, so first of all, my favorite is always going to be cleansing with plant medicine, okay? It's just my go-to. That's what I know, all right? So considering that this isn't a reading and we're doing Psychic Live 101, let's do this, okay? So bear with me here. All right. And I got to try to not burn so much cedar and sage and such because... set off the smoke alarm in my place yesterday. Neighbors got kind of mad. Had to burn my stuff outside, you know, and then people are looking at me through the windows. What's she doing burning shit out there? You know. Anyhow. All right. So here's a little smudge stick that I made from last year's harvest. Just starting this one today. So this is just sage, just white sage, okay, that I grew in my garden, all right? You can get it at spiritual stores. You can buy your own sage plants at like nurseries and all that kind of stuff, right? So I've got my own sage stick here. Sage is wonderful for removing negativity. It's a very female type plant, okay? Where as opposed to cedar, which is the male version, okay, also with strength and protection, okay? So here we go. We've got some beautiful sage smoke. Usually when I work with this, I always pass it 3 times over my crown and 3 to my heart, asking this beautiful spiritual sage to cleanse my mind, cleanse my body, cleanse my soul. And I'm not going to do it again, like really big, like I did yesterday, like I said, and get in big trouble. But what you would do is you would light this so that you're getting a significant amount of smoke. And if you want to use smudging feathers, you can. I don't have mine handy. But what you would do is you would pass the smoke around like this, and you would say whatever intention that you really want in terms of cleansing your home, okay? Now, what's important when you're doing a proper smudge is that you are really getting all the areas in the house, okay? That can be a challenge if you're going to do a thorough house cleanse, because we're looking at things like closets, bathrooms, garage, if you want to be doing a really thorough job in the cupboards and stuff like that, right? Negative energy has a tendency to kind of hide in certain places. But another really lovely thing that you can do to cleanse that's kind of got a real jam-pack punch to it is with sound, okay? So I've got my lovely singing bowl here. I've got my tincture bells downstairs, but this is my beautiful singing bowl. You guys would have seen me use it before if we do messages from the popcorn bowl and all that kind of stuff, but that's when we throw the cards in there and have like, you know, psychic party time, but that's a different story, right? So here's a singing bowl. Check it out, okay? Look at that, hanging my Buddhas upside down. Pow. So check this out. Right? Tiny little tap, right? You can do it bigger if you want. Sound is frequency, as is everything, right? Sound penetrates through everything, right? Can go through walls, go through space. Just instantly feel like negative energy breaking up around me. I just feel so fulfilled, so happy, so joyful. I don't know if you experience that. Not sure how that comes through in the transfer with the video, but sound is a fantastic way to cleanse negative energy from a space. And in terms of housekeeping and all of this, Sarah, I think that what is also a really good idea is to grid your house, okay? Now, gridding your house, I'm talking about with crystals, okay? Now, whether you want to get, you know, bigger crystals, whether you're using the smaller ones, right? Really doesn't matter, because again, it's about intention, right? It's all about intention, friends, all about intention. So what you can do, let's just say, for example, this is your floor plan or your property lines, or, you know, the outline of my living room, for example. Get a piece of, you know, maybe a black type crystal like a tourmaline or a jet or a hematite or an onyx or something like that, and put it in each corner of the room. okay? And then what that does is it kind of creates like an energy force field, so to speak, like a dome, because we're all going to kind of talk to each other, right? Like attracts like, okay? So what it does, it creates like a doming effect with the energy of the crystals that are inherent to the crystals, okay? So if you put all these crystals in there to clear negative energy, you're going to create a dome that naturally clears negative energy. Now, to take it to the next level, because I always love it to take it to the next level, you know I do. Just because you can take out something negative, you know, which is wonderful to do, doesn't mean that you can't do other things to counterbalance it and add it in positive. So, if, for example, you're going to use hematite or whatever it is that you're going to use as a grounding or a clearing or protection stone, why don't you add in, where do I have any? Oh yeah, of course, this big giant chunk right here. You can always add in some rose quartz. Check this out, right? Yeah. So obviously you wouldn't necessarily have one of these babies in the middle, you know, or enough of them to put in every corner. I wish. But if you are so lucky, if you have a small piece or a big piece, put these in the corners as well with your other stones. Have them work as a team. Have some taking out the negative while you have some others putting in the positive. Create that counterbalance, right? Create it. It's not just about taking out the negative. Add in the energies that you want to be in that room. Make it room specific. Use rose quartz for the bedroom, friends. If you want to maybe have a joyous living room, use citrine in the four corners of your living room. I have a giant chunk of citrine that I have in the center of my house because it's yellow because of feng shui, right in the center of the house. I'm not a feng shui master or by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a big citrine point. I have my citrine point pointing at my kitchen. Why? Because I want to infuse all of the food within my fridge, within my kitchen, where the heart of the kitchen, the heart of the house is the kitchen, right? So I put all that citrine energy and I focus it right at my kitchen, so it's infusing everything we do in the kitchen and infusing all the food that we put into our bodies, right? Layers. It's not just about removing negativity. Add in what you want, girl. Hope that gives you everything you need. Thanks to everyone who just joined. Thanks for joining me for Q&A. Let me just see. Where are some more questions? Okay, hang on. Okay. Amber Lee, you have issues controlling empathic abilities. How do I shut it off? Yeah. That's hard. So just like I was saying before about, being in the flow, being in energy, this is all one. It's not like shutting it off. If you're shutting it off completely, you're not opening yourself up, really. You're just kind of boxing everything out. And based, not for nothing, if you're here and if you're listening to this Q&A and you're guided to be here, you're already at a point where you're not going to be able to shut it off unless you're in complete denial of the messages and synchronicities going on around you, okay? So what I think is more important to employ would be a strategy that I like to just simply say is observe, don't absorb. Okay, because that's what empaths do. For anyone watching who doesn't know what an empath is somebody who receives energetic transfer through feelings. That can show up in different ways. For example, for me, I have it that shows up in 3 different ways for me. My empathic abilities show up by by emotions, right? I'll feel sad, I'll feel happy, I'll feel angry. I don't know why. It's not my feelings, it's somebody else's, okay? It'll also show up for me in the way of telepathic thought and transfer. I'll get someone's thoughts, right? And I also get physical transfer. So for example, I will feel someone's hurts and pains, I remember doing mediumship for a lady before, and their loved one was trying to tell me that she had broken her arm. My arm starts hurting. I start feeling like it's limp, and I just feel like I'm going like this, right? And it was because Spirit was saying, ouch, this hurts, giving me a visual to go like this. And I said to her, did you break your arm? Right? So empathic stuff can show up in a lot of different ways, okay? Okay. Right. So I'm getting there, girl. okay? Because not everyone, you're more advanced, right? So not everyone's where you're at. So when it comes in to not letting it affect you too much, this is where you need to have your boundaries and guidelines established, okay? And what I mean by established is with this observe, don't absorb piece. This isn't about like ignoring what's going on around you. This is about you being fully aware and allowing and understanding, okay, this is what's going on, and understanding the story that energy is trying to tell you. Often you are being triggered for different things, okay? Because whether or not it's showing up as this person's energy transfer, or whether or not I'm just sitting next to someone who's on the bus who's really angry and it's affecting me, you have to have it set up within your own energetic system that I am going to, let's just say, activate my own personal space, activate the aura around me, my own energy field. We all have this energy field around us, whether you tune into it or not, right? But if you are tuning into it and you are establishing boundaries to say, this is my energetic field, imagine like a big egg around you, okay? Maybe like 2 or 3 or 5 feet out from your body, whatever seems right for you, okay? And then know and feel and connect in this energy space that this is my space that I control. Kind of like a television set in a way, but in reverse. You're kind of looking at the stuff out there. You're staying in your bubble and connecting to what's going on with you. I can totally understand what's going on out there. For example, I'll talk about my kids, okay? Let's just say there's a child on the floor screaming, crying, this, that, whatever. My emotions and the physical transfer of the friction energy that's in the room can make me go, because now like attracts like. This energy is inviting me to dance with it, saying, hey, this feels awful. Want to join? It's my choice to join. But first, instead of jumping into the feeling and matching the frequency, what you first do is stop and say, wait, where's this coming from? Number one, does it belong to me? If it don't belong to you, if it's frustrating energy freaking out on the floor, see it for what it is and keep it in that space. Don't bring it into yours. You don't have to match that frequency. Second thing is to say, what is this information telling me? Because when you start looking at what the energy is trying to connect to and give you as information, this is no longer about you reacting to something. This is about you understanding what is happening in front of you so you can make a choice. Your choice is to match the frequency, or your choice is to stay within your zone and from an observant point of view, decide how you will behave. Right? Now that's pretty high level, okay? And I get it. And that takes practice, okay? But that is how you do it. You have to start owning your power. You have to connect with your own aura. And if you need help, and if you guys need me to explain how to do that, then type it in, okay? But you have to connect to your own energy. You got to own your own energy. You got to call back your power. And when you do, it becomes what you are viewing rather than what you are stuck in, okay? Don't get stuck in other people's energy. You hold your own field, okay? That's why it's like, yes, there's guidance, there's protection and all of this. But if you have this beautiful energetic field around you that you own, and you know that all this goodness and light and grace is within you, and that you own this, then friends, you can't be touched, okay? Come back to you. All right. And girl, you don't want to shut it off, okay? Something else, create boundaries, okay? Now this is some information that, again, might be a little high level, but tell spirit what you expect. You might think I'm kind of crazy, and that's okay because you're in the right spot, but tell spirit, I am not available until 7 o'clock at night. I will listen to everything you have to say. If you have things you need to tell me, messages, this, that, whatever, I'm all yours from 7 to 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. Spirit will listen, spirit will respect, okay? But you have to own your own space, right? To say, yes, I'm willing to do this, and this is what it'll look like. Makes a lot of sense for you? You're so welcome, sweetheart. I'm glad you liked that, Peter. Thank you. Good stuff, friends. Hey, Gabby. Hey, Shay. Okay, friends, let me see if there's any other questions. I see there is. Is this useful for you guys? I mean, I know I normally come on and do readings and all of that, but everybody is waking up to their own senses, whatever that looks like, or whether you're seeing synchronicities, etc. Okay, so I want to be able to help as best I can, and sometimes that means taking your personal questions on, this showed up, what does this mean? Is this just my imagination? What do I do with this, right? Okay. Ooh, something else as well that we talked about, clearing the space and energy. I talked about sage. I also have my sweetgrass here. I like to use these together because I'm all about, combining stuff. It just doesn't have to be one thing, right? Use this to cleanse the negative. Use some sweetgrass to put in the positive, friends. If you've never used sweetgrass, it's amazing. It smells like baking bread. It's just fantastic. Okay, let me check out some questions. Okay. Okay, Ria. How do you get clarity to make decisions when multiple opportunities are present? Okay, so Ria, when it comes to multiple opportunities, what you're dealing with is multiple data streams, so to speak. Okay, because let's just make it real simple, and we'll say I want to do door number 1 or door number 2 or door number 3. What opportunity is best for me, whether it's relationship, career, whatever this has to do with. Okay, what doors are we looking at? It is very difficult to hold on to all sorts of different things together and decipher all of that. That's kind of like, if you forgive me, eating your dinner and putting in a bite of, meat and a bite of potato and a bite of vegetable and trying to just taste the meat or just taste the potato. You can't, because you're mixing it all together, okay? So when you look at multiple opportunities, what I tend to do, especially as a reader and even for myself, is I extract the main components of what I'm trying to dissect. So I won't say what makes more sense to me, door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. What I will do is I will say, what do I need to know about door number 1? I absorb myself in door number 1. I ask all the questions in particular to door number 1. What will this look like to me? What will this feel like to me? What will the end result be like to me? How will I feel in this process? What will happen along the way? Okay? And when you do that, you get a wholehearted, full kind of 360 view of what door number 1 looks like. And there might be pros and cons, right? And then I'll sit that in kind of one space, and if you need to, then journal what that looks like, even if you just have to write down a couple points. Door number 1 felt like this, have some ups and downs in the middle, but at the end it worked out great, blah, 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 okay? Now let's explore door number 2. Let's do the exact same thing. How does this feel? What does this look like? What happens this? What are the timelines involved? How did I feel at the end? When I'm at the end, when I look back, did I feel like it was worth it? And because things are going to change along the way, so what I mean by that is not all journeys are the same, whether it's door number 1, 2, or 3. Until you really immerse yourself and see that 360 view, you can't really dissect and really discern the difference and weigh your pros and cons, okay? So don't try to chew on too much at once, okay? Take it side by side, and what this also might mean, depending on where you're at with your own personal energy level during the day, at the time, whatever this might be, you might not even do this all in one day. You might sit and ask for Spirit's direction on door number 1 for a week. No problem. You don't have to rush this process, right? And then next week we'll make it about door number 2, okay? I hope that helps. Because I agree, things can be complicated. Things can definitely be complicated, but you have to compartmentalize it. Because the whole point is understanding the messages, right? Because if you don't understand the messages, why are we asking, right? Hey, Helen, thanks for joining. Hey, Dennis. Peter, you're right. Sweetgrass also attracts spirit. So right. So right. Okay, cool. Let's see. Do we have more questions? Of course, we have more questions. Awesome. So glad you're joining, friends. I hope this is really helpful for you too. All right, you're welcome, Ria. All right. Okay, Sarah, you keep seeing little white dots or even things that aren't really there. They're there. Do you know what this might be? It's spirit. So, yeah. So you're seeing some clairvoyant stuff. Clairvoyant as in clear seeing, okay? And I used to see that stuff a lot. I still see it, but I just see lots more stuff too, okay? Way back when, it started off for me like a little flick in the side, or just like a little, like little sparkles kind of showing up, like ding, ding, ding. And like you kind of look that way, and of course there's nothing there, right? Sometimes you might even see gray dots or gray shadows that seem to go phew, phew, and it kind of looks, like when you see like an airplane that has like the trail, right? It's kind of like gray looking, but it'll be like in your house or in your room, and you phew, 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 like this, right? It's all spirit, it's all energy, okay? Now, That's not to say, oh, that's necessarily my grandmother floating around, okay? When we're talking about energy showing up clairvoyantly, let's remember, this isn't just about human spirit. There's energy all over the place, okay? So just understand that when you're seeing stuff, it doesn't just mean, oh my God, someone just ran through my house. What the heck is that? Okay? There's all sorts, there's orbs, and that's not just to say it's like this or like this. This can be animal energy. It can be energy of different frequencies. It can be love energy. Because our understanding of living in this physical 3D realm is that everything that we experience, we have to be able to see or experience with our senses. But I'm sure everyone is on the same page that there is things within this universe that we don't fully understand, okay? And it's going to show up differently for all sorts of different people, also depending on where your own personal skill set lies and how advanced you are in that skill set. Some of you won't see it all, and that's okay. Maybe your hearing is really amazing. Maybe your claircognizance is just on point, right? So don't be afraid to practice and to be shown more things to see, okay? Little tip for you guys, if you don't want to see things, say so, okay? Because sometimes that's scary. I get it, right? I remember seeing someone walk through my house once, and I like literally screamed because I thought someone was walking in my hallway, but it wasn't, right? So don't be afraid. If you don't want to see things, like as in walking across your living room, just tell Spirit and put up a boundary. It says, I'm happy to communicate with Spirit and light and love that's here for my best good, but please don't show me yourself visually because I'm not comfortable with that, okay? Set your boundaries. Okay, Steph Catherine, kids and their psychic abilities. Okay, so if you have a specific question, let me know, okay? Because I could go on about this for a while. At the end of the day, when it comes to kids and psychic ability, they are a lot closer to, the 5D realms and all of this than we are, meaning they are younger. They have, whether they're 2, whether they're 7, whatever, they are a lot closer to the imaginative stage in their lives rather than the grown-up phase in our lives. I believe that the magic number is like 7, in terms of a child's programming and stuff. But obviously it goes without saying that children have these amazing imaginations, and they're not bound by belief systems like we are, that we get programmed with as we grow up. So children are very much in touch with their imaginative senses, therefore their intuition at the same time. Now, children also don't have those, innate, what would I call them, social type stigmas of it's bad to say that you have an imaginary friend, or that you talk to an angel, or that grandpa who's been deceased comes in and sings to you at night, all right? So what I think is really important when it comes to children is, number one, if you have a child in your house that you suspect has psychic abilities, etc., number one, ask yourself the question, is this a problem? Okay? Because if it isn't a problem and you have a child who's in a playpen or in a crib who seems to be staring at the same place every day or around a certain time or up at night at a given time looking at a wall or talking to someone, you have to ask yourself, is this a problem? Because I can almost guarantee you this is one of your loved ones in heaven coming down and visiting them and chatting with them, and just visiting with them happens so much, okay? Now, in terms of when children get older, okay, and because my children are 12 and 9, so we're past the imaginative, type stages of things being open and free, and now they're starting to have some belief systems. And if we're talking about early training, and all of you might even be able to benefit from this as well, is when I'm looking at this stuff with my children, I'm not teaching them how to be psychic, right? What I'm teaching them to do is be aware of their observations and to be aware about what they feel and to play guessing games. So for example, what does that look like? Okay, kids, we're going to the gas station. What numbers are going to show up on the gas pump? What do you think? Can you see it in your mind? What feels right to you? What numbers feel right? Right? Which elevator is going to come first, Tommy? You tell me, which one? Can you see it coming? Is the light going to ding first? Right? Which door is going to open first? Play guessing games. Get them to use these muscles, right? Even though they're using the muscles, we don't have to say what we're doing. It's flexing a different type of muscle, okay? And then your children will naturally start to lead you in terms of either what they see, feel, hear, or know. Don't be afraid to ask questions of your child as well, right? Do you see someone? What do they look like? Did they tell you their name? Do you know who they are? Okay? Don't be afraid to ask them questions, because I bet you they're going to tell you. I hope that helps, because I totally get it. Let me see. Thank you. I'm glad you liked that question. Let's see. Okay, Angela. So you have a dream of things to come for myself, or sometime a message for another person. So I think, are you trying to say that you see something in a dream and then something happens afterwards? Like you have a premonition in your dream and then you see it happen in real life after? Is that what you mean, Angela? Can you type in and let me know? Hey, Laura. You're welcome, Sarah. Love you. Okay. So, yeah, that's what you mean? Okay, awesome. So that can just simply be another form of psychic transfer, because many times, especially when we're busy people and especially when we have a lot of stress. You're welcome, Steph. If you have any more questions specifically, let me know, okay? I know it's a tough conversation sometimes in terms of kids. It's hard to know where to go. Angela, this is really just another example of, you know, how spirit communicates with you. Especially when you're a busy person and you have so many things on your mind, and especially if you're an emotional person, sometimes a lot of your energetic currency gets spent up thinking of this, worrying about this, dealing with laundry, dealing with this, and we don't have the time to really sit down and meditate and connect to ourselves, as honestly most of us don't on a regular basis. So often if spirit has a big message for you, it comes through in your dreams, because they're like, hey, look, she's not doing nothing. Quick, send her something before she wakes up. Okay, so don't worry about it. They're just taking advantage of the opportunity to get a clear message across to you. Perhaps they're trying to send it to you in other ways, but you're too busy with this or that, and there's no shade there. We're all busy, right? But perhaps that's why it's coming through in dreams. And many people get messages in their dream. That's why so many people keep a sleep journal. Like, you know, just something like this at the side of your bed, because usually when you wake up in the morning is the first time that you remember your dreams or the most about them. So keep a journal by your bed and write those things down, and then you'll remember more about your dreams, and then you can just kind of put it in the bank, okay? And what I mean by put it in the bank is, let's just say you get a dream and, okay, and then many times people have dreams that, you know, okay, oh my God, I think someone's going to get hurt, or you get a bad feeling about something. That doesn't mean you now stay on pins and needles and go, oh my God, when's this going to happen? When's this going to happen? Oh my God. Okay. No. Because you don't know how exactly this is going to show up, or if it's going to show up, or if it's just going to be an idea that shows up. Or, you know, for example, let's just say you have, you know, a scary dream that someone gets in a car accident, okay? Which is a horrible dream. You don't want it to happen, all of that. It could simply be a premonition of someone calling you and saying, oh my God, this guy cut me off. I was almost in a car accident. And you're like, oh my God, I just was thinking car accident, right? So don't think too much on it, because you also don't want to throw energy in that direction, okay? But just listen to what spirit is showing you. Put it in the bank to say, okay, information to be used at a later date, okay? But don't hold on to it, especially not with emotions, okay? Okay, let's see. Yeah, a lot of people are getting premonitions, okay. No, not crazy at all. Not crazy at all, friends. I've had dreams, and I don't get a lot of dreams, but let me tell you, the dreams that I have had have been premonition type dreams, and I've seen it come out, and yeah, I'll just stop there. Okay. Okay, so DS Ventura, how and when do you ask spirit to communicate with you safe and the right way? Okay, so first of all, safety comes down to you and what feels right for you. I always recommend that you do some sort of either prayer or statement of intention before you do any spiritual work. It doesn't have to be religious. It doesn't have to be, 20 minutes long. It doesn't have to be accompanied with a 45-minute intro meditation, okay? It can simply be, I connect myself to the highest good of all to receive guidance in not only my best good, but in all involved, okay? Or how about, may the white light of our Lord Jesus Christ surround us and protect us and all who may enter here. Okay, those are beautiful prayers that are very all-encompassing. Okay, not only for you but for energies coming to join you as well. Okay, so state just that intention that you will only communicate in the name of good and light and love, and you will only communicate with energies of light and love. Okay, know it, and like I said before, own your power. Don't put it out there. It was like, okay, I'm only going to communicate the spirit of light and love. Oh my God, really? Like, you're looking to be picked on, okay? I don't mean that in a bad way. You're not going to be picked on, okay, at all. But I'm just saying, don't be afraid to ignite your power. Don't be afraid to stand in your power. Say, I call light to myself and I ground myself into the heart of Gaia to ensure all messages that come forward for me today are in my best good. Right? Easy peasy. Then you ask your questions. Okay, and then you wait to get an answer to see, okay, what does this feel like to me? Do I now get an image? Do I now feel something? Whatever this looks like, okay? And with regards to the right, when do you ask? When, I would suggest, is completely up to you, but I think how you feel is the most important indicator. Because like I was saying to Angela about messages coming through in dreams, if you're in a stressed out space, if you're driving home and you're stressed out because of traffic, that's not the best space to receive divine guidance and messages, right? You might, but if you're sitting there with an intention to ask and to receive information, the best space for you to be in is a calm space, an open space, without your brain thinking and juggling about all these different things. Because that's when things, again, get convoluted, right? When you're trying to think of all of these things at once. Compartmentalize it. So if you really want to do spiritual work and ask those questions, set the intention that I'm at the end of my day or in first thing in the morning, whatever is right for you, that I'm going to calm myself down, I'm going to ground myself and connect to the highest good of all, and I'm going to ask for guidance in my best good. When you set the groundwork for doing this, it's like you call that energy to meet you there, and it's going to be even more powerful in the moment to do it. Don't forget that when you ask the questions, to expect an answer, my friend. The answers will come, but be open to receiving them in alternative ways that you may not be expecting. Hope that helps. Hey friends, thank you for coming. Hey Courtney, hey V. Okay, awesome. Let me see what else we got, friends. So, okay. Do tricksters like to mess with pendulum work? Okay. So if anybody doesn't know what a pendulum is, this is a pendulum. Okay, and there's pendulums that look like all sorts. You can have wood ones, metal ones, you can have crystals, you can even just, there's other things that you can use, like a necklace as a pendulum. It doesn't have to be a pendulum, okay? Anyone who doesn't know, this is used, like, remember like the old wives' tales, you put like, a wedding ring on like a lady's necklace and hang it in front of a pregnant lady's baby. If it spins this way, it's a boy and all that. If it turns this way, it's a girl. So that's the pendulum. Now, some people, okay, so let's talk about energies out there. There's good and bad in everything, okay? To say that there's no negative energy out there is to just lie, because it's not true. There's polarity in everything. We don't know what's good if we don't know what bad is, okay? But you don't have to live in fear, because so long as you have beautiful energy within your body, within your soul, within your heart, and you set intentions to only work in light and love, then friends, you will only work in light and love, okay? However, sometimes people who work with a pendulum or with other tools may feel that a spirit is, interfering, and maybe it's supposed to be a yes, but they're going to say no. Or some people have a fear that if I open up to spirits, that, a negative spirit will try to trick me and gain my confidence and gain my trust and then start asking me to do negative things or stuff like that, okay? I think it's really important, again, that you really, if you're going to work in the spiritual realm, that you really pull up your socks and really make sure that you are owning your energy when you walk into it. Just like with anything, okay? If you're gonna try something out, like, you know, I don't know, skydiving or something like that, you wanna make sure that you have everything in check first. You wanna make sure you've got your safety course. You wanna make sure you've got your parachute, right? So that's not saying you have to have all these big things in check, and if you don't, you know, horrible things are gonna happen. But if you set the tone and energy for what you will communicate with, then you're not going to create holes for things to come in and start playing around, okay? When I communicate with light and love, this isn't an ask that I will only communicate with spirits of light and love. It's an intention and it's a frequency that I hold. It's not a please, please request, okay? You don't understand just how strong you are when you are speaking through love energy, through grace energy, through the grace of light, okay? So know your worth, know your energy, only work with spirit of light and love. And here's the thing, if you feel like, wait a minute, something's happening a little strange here and I don't understand what it is, if it feels comfortable to you, then just repeat or kind of do a different intention or a clearing, a verbal clearing of the room. So you can say, for example, there is no space for any energy here that is not of unconditional love and the highest good of all. You must leave now through any hole, crack, or space within my body, within this place, or within this environment. There is no space for you now. So be it, and so it is. Do I look scared? Not scared, friends, okay? Hold your space, hold your love, hold your peace, hold your grace, and you will be just fine. Hope that made sense. Hey, Moon Lady. Hey, Eric. Hey, RW. Awesome. Okay, friends. Let me see if there's any other questions. Do I have any other things coming up on the horizon? I do have some other cool stuff coming up on the horizon. We're doing another Psychic Pajama Party next Friday. Thank you to everybody who RSVP'd for that. It was sold out in 12 hours, just like the first party. So thank you so much. They're so fun too. So awesome stuff. I am also going to be doing a Mediumship 101 course in October, and that's the perfect time to do it because the closer we get to October, that's when the veil is thin, right? Meaning easier to communicate with spirit. So if any of you have been interested in trying to learn how to communicate with your loved ones in heaven, that would be an actually excellent course to take because it really shows you the 101 of how to do it, and there's a lot of practice in this as well, which in my opinion is so key to transfer of psychic knowledge and practice, okay? I can give you all the tools and tell you what to do and all that, but only until you actually start trying and receiving and then discerning are you really going to know what does this mean, okay? Other than that, we're just kind of throwing, you know, darts in the dark. You might hit something now and then, yep, no problem. But if you really want to know, and if you really want to be able to use this for your best good and intention, then you need to kind of dive into it. And that's not saying you're not going to learn it if you don't take my course. What that means is you have to be committed to learning and incorporating this into your life. You know, just kind of like when people talk about diet, it's not about taking a diet, it's about a lifestyle change of making choices about how you look at things, how you make choices for yourself and your own balance. And this is very much about learning your psychic abilities as well. It's not just about, okay, I'm going to turn on the switch and now I'm going to ask the question that I want to know about the lottery numbers and now I'll turn off the switch because I don't want to know anything else. Okay? When you open up to divine love and divine guidance and divine communication, you open yourselves up to so many other things. So, and all of those things help you be in the flow and help for things in your best good. Anybody else have any questions? Carry a lot of spiritual rocks, getting signs, handprints, butterflies, and so on? Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't forget to cleanse your rocks, right? Your spiritual stuff, whether it's a rock, whether it's, you know, any tool you can cleanse, right? Everything absorbs energy. Everything does. So you don't want to work with energies that, you know, aren't going to be helpful, right? And you don't know what any sort of item has picked up. Hey, Moon Lady. Anybody have any more questions? Because if not, I'm going to head out of here. Awesome, friends. Thank you so much for joining me for Psychic 101. I hope that this helped you get acquainted with yourself or more comfortable. And I'm sure that some of the questions that were asked here were certainly questions on a bunch of other people's minds about what works for them, or, you know, the 1, 2, 3s of protection and all that stuff. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Please join me again. And if you need to book a private session, you message me or check me out at my website, kellyfergusonreadings.com. Have a good night, friends.